Growing outrage in Pennsylvania after a woman was allegedly raped on a public train, and authorities say none of her fellow passengers did anything to help.
Nobody said nothing. Nobody did anything. That's ridiculous.
It's disgusting.
That's awful. What's wrong with people?
The alleged rape occurred last week on board an Upper Darby-bound train. Police say surveillance video shows other riders in the train car during the attack who did nothing.
It's disturbing that there were definitely people on the L, and no one intervened or did anything to help this woman out.
According to the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, it wasn't until a train employee saw what was happening and called police that help arrived. Officials say transit officers caught the man in the act and arrested him.
This is why we had this man in custody. If they weren't present there, that man would have walked off, and who knows if we would have found him.
35-year-old Fiston Inouye is now in jail, charged with rape and assault. The alleged victim, who police say did not know the attacker, was treated at a nearby hospital and is doing okay, according to police. The transit authority saying the attack may not have gone on as long had a bystander taken action. Writing in a statement, there were other people on the train who witnessed this horrific act, and it may have been stopped sooner if a rider called 911. A spokesperson for the transit line urging anyone who witnesses an emergency on board to call 911 immediately. A reminder many riders aren't taking lightly.
We just need to know that if we were in that position, we want someone to help.
If you see something, say something.
NBC News Now correspondent Priscilla Thompson joins us here in studio. Priscilla, are authorities looking for any of these bystanders?
Well, police say they are watching those tapes to see who was there, how long they were there, and to try to identify some of those folks. Police told our NBC affiliate that this victim was unconscious for part of the attack. And so they're hoping those bystanders can help to piece together what exactly happened. So investigators are saying if you were there, call the Upper Darby Township Police and report it to them immediately.
Helping your clients plan for retirement seems very
Peace. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing all right. It's your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. I wanted to talk about that incident that happened in Philadelphia with this young lady. But before I get into my commentary, I want to pull up something. I want to pull up another article. So there's another article I want to pull up.
Through court documents that a judge once ordered the man charged with the attack to be deported from the U.S. NBC 10's Brian Sheen is joining us tonight from our newsroom to explain why he's still in the country and what the Delaware County DA's office is saying about charging anyone who witnessed the rape but did not call 911, Brian?
Yeah, Jim, court documents reveal Fiston Inouye entered the U.S. from Congo on a student visa back in 2012. And over the years, he would have several run-ins with the law, all leading up to his arrest for rape last week on that SEPTA train. And today, Delaware County's top cop says witnesses may have nothing to fear.
See someone that legally was permitted to be out on the street and to be free.
Center City-based immigration attorney Ricky Palladino is referring to 35-year-old Fiston Inouye, the man charged with raping a woman on a SEPTA train last week. Palladino doesn't represent Noy, but we asked him to review a court document for our story. He says that document reveals immigration officials ordered Noy to be deported back to his home country of Congo because he overstayed his student visa and pleaded guilty to misdemeanor sexual abuse in Washington, D.C. in 2017. Palladino says the sexual abuse charge is legally considered a particularly serious crime. But then a twist.
That was reversed by the Board of Immigration Appeals that concluded that it was not a particularly serious crime, and thus he was eligible for the relief that he was seeking based on his fear of persecution in his country.
The case shocked many after police revealed some passengers pointed their phones in the direction of the incident but didn't call 911 or step in to help. That left many wondering whether bystanders could or should face charges. And on Wednesday afternoon, Delaware County District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer said, while I share the public's outrage that such a heinous crime could occur on a public SEPTA train, I want to reiterate that Pennsylvania law does not allow for the prosecution of a passenger who may have witnessed a crime. Accordingly, any passenger who believes he or she may have observed the October 13th event on the SEPTA train should not fear prosecution. You are encouraged to come forward to share information with law enforcement. At Upper Darby's 69th Street Transportation Center, passengers had mixed opinions about the law.
I don't think that's right. I think they should charge them with failing to render aid because somebody was in distress.
The law shouldn't be changed. It's up to the individual to help out if they want to.
You just standing by, that's not good. So, the law needs to be changed.
Now, Noy has a criminal history in Delaware County dating back to 2015. He's facing rape and assault charges in this case, and it's due back in court on Monday. Live in the newsroom, I'm Brian Sheehan, NBC 10 News. Jim.
Watching all this, only thing I can say is society has failed. Society been failing, but society failed miserably. If there's a group of people on the public transit sitting around watching a woman in particular being sexually assaulted and no one does anything, that goes to tell you where the current state of society is at. Society has failed miserably. They didn't say who the woman was. They didn't give her a name or description or anything like that. But just anyone in general getting sexually assaulted on the plane. On the transit, whether it be on the train, whether it be on the bus, somebody should have the courage to speak up, not just stand around and watch. And particularly the males. You see a man assaulting a woman, you don't just stand there and watch. And this is why there are women who are very uptight, who don't trust anybody to protect them, who would rather go out and protect themselves, because this type of shit is what's happening. You got people sitting around watching you being violated. How does that make you feel as a woman? What does that tell you about your value? Does your protection mean anything to people? Does your livelihood mean anything? So in this case, not only I say individual blame, but it's also a system blame as well, because the system had failed this woman as well. The government has failed because the public transit is part of the government system. And the people on the train, they failed because they failed to report an incident and they failed to protect this woman. They failed. They failed miserably. See, you have to be careful when you get on these public transit systems because anything can happen, anything can go down. Anything can go down. And there's lack of security. Yeah, you may have police officers, depends on what state and what city you live in, but that doesn't mean that the police officers are guaranteed to be on those transit system or any type of public transportation. Because your life is at risk, it's at a major risk. Nothing further. That's all I wanted to say. I'm very disgusted on multiple levels. It's very disturbing. But nothing more. I have nothing else to say about this. I spoke my piece.